Hey folks, how's it going? So I mentioned in a previous video that I intended to make some more little prop style things, just little artifacts and bits and pieces. The reason for me making things like this is just for decorative, just because I want something cool to sit on my shelf, something interesting looking that I've made myself. So that's the reason for me doing it. But there could be a whole other bunch of applications you could use this sort of stuff for. It could be like cosplaying or role playing type scenarios. Like say in D&D, you could hand things like this to players, just to create more immersion, so they find an artifact in a dungeon or something like that, and you can actually hand them the artifact that they would find, just to, as I say, give them something to create more immersion and lore, I guess, into it. You could also incorporate like puzzles and things like that into the bits and pieces that you're making, to give them to aid in the game. So there's a whole bunch of things you can do with things like this, but for me it's just a decorative kind of thing, and also just the enjoyment of making little interesting artifacts that might exist in some kind of fantasy realm, I guess. So this one, the idea behind it is it's almost like a spyglass or monocle style thing that the user would hold up to their eye and look through a lens that's going to be in here, that would reveal like magical elements, or an alternate kind of perspective on things, like an alternate world, or maybe this lets you see hidden doors or something along those lines. So I cut this shape out of styrene, the sheet styrene stuff that I used for the Skyrim Soul Gem. So I just cut this random shape that I thought up, and I've also cut two out of this is just really thin cardstock. So I cut two identical, or as identical as I could get them, plates that will sit over the top of this, just because I wanted like two different kind of textures going on. I'm going to paint this up to look like metal, but I wanted two different textures, so I've done this cut out almost to be the smooth kind of flat metal, and then in these recesses here I'm going to use like sculpting putty to make it look hammered, just to give some more visual interest to it. And then I went ahead and cut this disc out of I think it was a CD case or something, an old CD case, just a random clear bit of plastic, and this fits pretty much perfectly into this hole here. So that is actually going to be, I'm going to do some washes and stuff on this just to give it maybe like a green kind of color, because I think the green will contrast well with like it'll be a light sort of green that'll contrast well with the metal colors that I'm thinking of using for the piece itself. And then just to give another little detail, I've cut plastic ball bearing in half, just with a little hacksaw. I'm going to put this here, and I might paint that up to look like some sort of gemstone. So the idea is that this is the like some little magical gemstone or something is giving this artifact the power to be able to see whatever it sees. Alright folks, that's it all finished up. You saw me painting it there. I went ahead after that and added a couple layers of washes and dry brushing just to give it this kind of old worn metal kind of look, and just to pick out some of the detail as well. The little gemstone sort of things up the top, I added, just painted those a green, cloudy green sort of colour, and then hit them with gloss varnish as well, just to give them a little bit of shine in contrast to the matte metal. And the glass in the middle here, I added some poly cement sort of stuff, just swirled that around, basically a plastic glue. Swirled that around, added dots and texture and sort of stuff in there to make it look like kind of old glass. And then I did a layer of a green wash just to give it some colour, and then did a final layer of gloss varnish again just to bring it back up to a shine, because the wash actually made it completely matte and you couldn't see through it at all. But the gloss varnish just brought it back up to a shiny glass looking surface, which is cool. So yeah, it was enjoyable to make. I started out with no real kind of plan as to what I was going to do, and just made this thing up as I went along. So yeah, fairly happy with it. As I mentioned before, the idea is that this would be some sort of enchanted spyglass or enchanted looking glass type thing that you would look through to reveal some kind of unseen magic or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's in reality, it's just an interesting little thing that I've made that I can put on my shelf, along with all the other interesting little things that I plan to make. So yeah, doing this stuff is fun. I know it's not technically miniatures related, but it's kind of craft, in the same sort of fantasy craft vein, I guess. So yeah, I plan to do quite a bit more of this sort of thing in and amongst all the miniature videos. So if you like this sort of thing, feel free to come back and check that out. But yeah, until the next one, cheers for watching, and I will catch you all later. Goodbye.